Hey there everyone, welcome back to the Duggan Racecraft YouTube channel. On this episode, I show you our other 82 GT. So before we get into this video, I just want to take a quick second to welcome everybody new to the channel. Since the last video, this channel has basically doubled in size. I went from 180 something subscribers to over 300 now. So I just want to tell you guys how appreciative I am of everybody who's been watching the video, liking, commenting and everything. The more that we do that, the more people we bring in here, the more I can do this for you guys, and I do enjoy doing it. So without further ado, let's get into the GT. Okay guys, we're finally back for another video. Like I said, in this video we're going to show you my dad's 82 GT, and I'll give you an update on what's happened with mine since the last video. Right off the bat, I'll apologize for the wind noise. It's a little bit more blustery than I thought it was going to be today. Before we get started, I'll show you everything that I've done with my car since the last video. As you see, I have some front runners on the car right now. I have the other front wheels getting balanced. I put some new tires in the back. These are Mickey Thompson ET Street R radials in a 17. These are a 20-inch tall tire. Another thing, big step forward, I got new seats for the car. These are from an 87 and up Mustang GT. Obviously they're red, they're tweed, which is really nice. They cleaned up very well. We went down to Des Moines to get these yesterday, me and Hannah did. The nice thing about these is you can adjust the bolsters. So these bolsters go in with a twist knob, and they can also recline. They also have power lumbar support, which is really nice. I have to get that wired up yet. I finally got the tach working with the MSD tach adapter for the 6AL, as well as getting the speedometer working. This is just the original gauge cluster. I have a 83 through 86 gauge cluster for it with 140 mile an hour speedometer. I'm just waiting on some faces for that, and then we'll get that installed. I also fixed the shifter boot so that the boot is now in a better spot. It's in first right now, which is why it looks like it's still kind of messed up. Another thing that I did, I finally got the car aligned so it will finally track straight, which is really nice. One thing we're going to be doing here in the near future, I did end up ordering a set of gears for this rear end. So since I went to a taller tire, it's probably better off for me to get away from the 355 gear to begin with. Just because with the 355 and a 20-inch tall tire with the T5, it's basically like having a 308 or a 327 with a factory height tire. So it's kind of hard on the clutch, especially with how sticky those tires are. So going to a 410 with these wheels should put me across the quarter-mile traps at 110 more than likely, which put me in the top of fourth. Obviously a little ambitious, but we'll see what happens. I was able to use what's called a draggy on this car. So the draggy is a GPS based quarter-mile calculator that you can use, supposed to be used in a closed environment, which this was. The car went 13.2 at 104 or 103 and change, I think. Pretty decent. Like I said, this combination, the King Cobra, when I had it running with a small block, it went 1369 at 100 miles an hour. So I'm not sure why this is running so much harder than the Cobra was. I know this is lighter, but I don't think it's lighter by that much. I mean, that would have to be, 400 or 500 pounds for it to make that much of a difference, but I'm not gonna complain. She's pretty zippy, a lot faster than I thought it was gonna be, which is kind of nice. Better to be faster than you thought than slower than you thought, I guess. So without further ado, let's move on to my dad's car. Let's do a quick walk around with this. So just a quick little backstory with this one. We got this car in September or October of 2019, but it was pretty well clapped. It sat out in the field for the better part of 10 years probably. The floors were pretty much completely gone. The paint was pretty well roughed up. The interior was pretty bad. Obviously the T-tops have been leaking at some point. For anybody who's had one of these T-top cars, know that they most of the time will leak from the factory. So this one has seals in it, which it still kind of leaks. Not the best, but better than it was, I'm assuming. This car was made in February of 1982. My car was made in May. One of the big differences between his car and my car, besides the obvious, is on the placard on the other side, there is no GT emblem. His car had a sticker right here. It just said GT, whereas my car has a physical emblem. As I said before, we do all our own work here in-house. My dad did the body work for this one, and I ended up painting this one. We painted it twice just because when we painted this the first time, we used Nason It's single stage paint. I made the mistake of getting fast dry paint, so when we went to go put the fourth coat on, I'm assuming that the paint had already set up and it started fisheyeing really bad. So him and I both decided it would probably be better just to sand it down, you know, give it a quick scuff, wet sand all the runs and everything out of it because it's my first paint job, and go ahead and paint it again. And I couldn't be happier with how this paint job came out. This is, I mean, it looks like glass. We got new body side moldings all the way around. These are SVE bullet wheels front and back. These are a square set. And these are 17 by 9. These seats came out of formerly my dad's, now my brother's 80 Cobra. I don't think you could get these seats in 81 or 82 and up. This is a steering wheel from 1978 Mustang 2. These wheels will work with Mustang 2s, and the nice thing about this one is the horn's in the middle. For whatever reason, Ford decided not to put the horn in the middle for 79 to 82. The horn was out here on the stock, and you push that to honk the horn. What we ended up doing, my dad did this, and I'm pretty impressed with it, is he basically took the guts from a Mustang 2 column, the clock spring and everything, and made it work with a 82 steering column, which is actually really cool. So like I said, the horn's in the middle, which is a lot nicer than what the stock one was. This car only shows 95,000 miles on it. I would guess that's probably pretty close. Like I said, this car is kind of a rust bucket, but it's come a long way since we've had it. We put floors in it and everything. One thing I will note is how different these two cars are in color. I'm not sure if you can see this on camera, but this car, my dad's car, is a lot brighter than mine is. As far as I can tell, these cars are pretty close to the original color, but neither one of them are the original actual red. If you hold up a part that was the original red next to either one of these, it's close. It's a lot closer to this one than it is with this one. I'm assuming it's just because this one's got some age in it. Another cool thing about this car is this one came from the local Ford dealership here in town. Just so happened that this car stayed local for its whole life. This car came from, I want to say, somewhere within 50 miles in Wisconsin. We're right on the Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin border. So this came from our local dealership, Mike Finn and Ford. So like I said, I think it's pretty cool that it came from close to home and stayed close to home. The next thing I'll show you guys will be under the hood. This car has a roller motor with fuel injection on it, but not the stock style fuel injection. It has a Holley Sniper EFI unit on it. So here's the money shot. The biggest thing that will stand out here, obviously, is the motor's blue, which it shouldn't be. Google steered me wrong when we did this one originally. It said that they didn't change the motor color until 83, that the 82 should have been blue. But come to find, it's supposed to be gray. So eventually this motor will come back out and we'll make everything right, because my dad wants to go for the factory style look, which is understandable. This is a factory roller motor. So this is from an 87 or 88 Mustang, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. I got it from Randy. Currently has an X cam in it, probably a little big for what the setup is, so I'll end up going back to a stock cam more than likely. Has an aluminum 3-core radiator in it, updated serpentine system, so I got rid of the tensioning bracket here. I just got one of the brackets from eBay. This alternator bracket's like 35 bucks, I think. I have the same one on my car. This car was originally a factory AC car, but by the time we got all the AC stuff was gone. So the AC pump's supposed to mount up here. Basically this car is pretty tame. It has later model headers on it with a BBK off-road H-pipe, stock style mufflers. It does have dual exhaust, had been converted at some point. It just needs to be realigned. Has the factory S-Rod transmission with a 8.8 with 410s, and obviously disc brakes converted all the way around with a 5-lug swap. Eventually we will convert this car back to AC. We just don't have the parts for it right now. I've been slowly hoarding them, getting them where I can. So that was just a quick overview of this car. You'll see more of it as we start working on it more and more. One thing I would like to note is that we are not done with this car yet. Just because we got it running and driving does not mean we're done making videos on that one. This car still has a long way to go before I'm content with it. She'll get painted at some point in the near future, probably this summer if I have my way, but we'll see what happens there. We'll end up doing gears in this at some point within the next couple videos, I think. And just a bunch of small stuff. I'll keep you guys updated as we go and make videos where I feel necessary. I'm not going to bore you guys with the stuff like putting the windshield wipers back on, fiddling around with wiring and things like that. So we'll just keep it short and sweet and give you guys the good stuff. So I just want to take the time and check in with you guys really quick, just because it had been a couple weeks since I had made a video. I was finishing up school, finally just graduated last week, so I got a lot more free time to myself to start working on my piles of junk. So the way that these next couple videos are going to work out, we're going to work on that Cobra for the next video or two, making the turbo kit for that I told you guys about. And then after that, we're going to start working on the King Cobra again. I just want to take a second and introduce to you guys what's going to be our next project after we're done with that Cobra I told you about. This is my 1978 Mustang 2 King Cobra. It is a factory King Cobra. I'm not going to get too into it with this one just because this car has a pretty long backstory. I've had this car for over 10 years now. This is one of the first Mustang 2s with a Coyote swap done. As far as I know, there's only one other one. So, like I said, we're just going to show you guys this one really quick. And then in a future video, we will go more into it and start working on this one again. Factory wheelbase car. I ended up doing a suspension swap from a 1967 to 1970 Mustang. It's still Mustang 2 front suspension, but it's a kit made for 67 to 70 so that I could get this motor to fit. Made my own headers for it, both sides. Basically did all the fabrication myself, back half of the car as well. This will be a Gen 2 Coyote, Gen 2 6R80, and a 9-inch Ford with a back half. These aren't the wheels that will end up being on the car. Obviously still a lot of work to do with this one, and this is going to give us a lot of good content. So this channel will not be going anywhere in the near future, so make sure you guys do like and subscribe. I would like to remind you guys that I am a Ford guy, not just a Fox body guy. It just so happened to be that I ended up picking up a Fox body and started videoing things I was doing with that, and I'm glad you guys did enjoy that. Hopefully you enjoy some of the other things we're going to take care of on this channel. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Y'all take care now.